thing when things start kind of moving. It's like, oh, okay, let's sit back and relax. But I'll tell you what, you know, I'm getting hit hard. I'm getting hit very, very, very hard. I barely have energy to take care of just regular things in my life. But I know in my stomach and in my heart, in my gut and in my heart, what God is telling my heart is, you keep talking about this, you keep putting it out there. Now's the time. When information is coming out, we need to just keep spreading it, and keep spreading it, and keep spreading it, and keep connecting the dots for non-TIs, keep connecting the dots for TIs on stories that we can use, you know, to let people know about what we're going through. You know, because it's, you know, almost the same as those State Department workers, except, you know, there's a little bit more involved with these weapons, you know, especially what they do psychotronically. You know, once they get a hook in you, a radio receiver signal, these signals to the brain and the nervous system are a lot more dangerous than just concussive effects and hearing loss. You know, there's neurological damage, psychological damage. I think okay, I can enter here. I'm going to turn around here, so I'm going way out. But yeah, just kind of, you know, now's the time to strike it while it's hot, guys. Now's really the time. My attackers have been hitting my, I think, the electronics in my car to make my engine kind of lurch forward. It's weird. I was driving to the Walmart. You know, they were hitting, like, I was listening to Dave's CD in the car, so they're hitting that. They're making that skip, and they're making the you know, they're making the engine in my car catch somehow. Some kind of you know, directed energy weapon system to the electronics attached to the engine. And it's really freaking dangerous stuff. I mean, and I've told y'all about this. It is a war. It is a war on U.S. citizens and citizens around the world with you know, these third-party contractors, and also, you know, I guess private security companies being contracted by the DoD and agencies, you know, United States agencies. They're given money in defense contracts, and then they're experimenting with these directed energy weapon systems. You know, non-TIs, you've got to go ahead and connect the dots on that. You know, if the weapons are being used in Cuba, and it seems, I don't know. You know, I'll give you an editorial on this. I really don't know if it's, you know, Russia or Cuba or North Korea or even just the U.S. itself doing a false flag. You know, I don't know who's using those weapons in Cuba and hitting those State Department workers, but those weapons are being used in Cuba, and they're being used pretty openly against, you know, against the Cuban embassy. So I want non-TIs to connect the dots on that. If those weapons, these are, you know, weapon attacks, military weapon attacks with directed energy weapon systems, sonic weapons. Now, if they're being used there, you know that our own DoD is you know, doing research and development on these weapon systems. And you've got to ask yourself, how are they doing research and development on these weapon systems? And then I'll tell you, they are doing research and development on these weapon systems by using it on American citizens. The military-industrial complexes of, I guess you would call them NATO countries, or, you know, countries in the UN, the allied countries. You know, their DODs, their military-industrial complexes are doing research and development on their citizens. And in any gang stalkers who, you know, may think that they're using these weapons on the criminal-minded, or, you know, people who are dangerous or people of interest, all you have to do is connect the dots to those State Department workers. Those are, you know, pretty much the cream of the crop. They're going over in their ambassadors to Cuba, you know, working at the Cuban embassy, you know, doing good things, and they were hit with these weapons. So connect the dots with how random it is. They're not using these things on the criminal-minded or anything like that. It's far different. You know, the criminal-minded are on the other side, you know, making a lot of money using these, directed energy weapon systems, which include, all the ranges of electromagnetic frequencies, from radio frequencies, sound waves, microwaves. You look at the electromagnetic spectrum, and it includes, X-rays, gamma rays. They go down this spectrum, and they can use a lot of different frequencies in the electromagnetic spectrum to attack people, to do remote neural monitoring. So let's connect the dots here. I do want to say to TIs, I've gotten some, not many, but some negative comments, stating that we are dangerous for putting these ideas forward, because the mentally ill can maybe hook on to these ideas if it's not happening to them, and we're a danger to them. And what I'd like to say to that is this program is the danger. The experimentation and the torture done to citizens around the world is the danger, not the people trying to expose it, not the victims or the survivors of this crime. And I'm going to stand very solidly on that. And now, if there are real, I want to tell TIs, if there are real citizens who don't believe this and really maybe think that we are dangerous, let them go ahead and leave their comments and, just say do more research or whatever. The deal with that is, as we become more vindicated and as more information comes out, if it is a true blue American citizen who really just doesn't believe this is happening and is a cynic, they'll feel very bad once more information comes out, once more vindication comes through. They will feel ultimately very embarrassed, and then they'll end up helping us. So don't worry too much about that. Now, if it's somebody actually, they do actually pay people, to get on social media and try and make us look crazy, or what I've experienced is about, a couple of years, and there's a one-light car going that way. A couple of years ago, it was mostly just making fun of us. Like, so people would, get on my YouTube channel, or they'd get on other TI's YouTube channels, and they just say, oh, you crazies, you need to take your medicine, haha, you wear tinfoil hats, making fun of us. Now what I see that we're being vilified, and they're actually paying some people, and there's a light change in front of me. They do this all the time. They're doing it right now because I'm making a pretty good video, and I think they like the fact that I'll be like, oh, there's a one-light car, or, they're doing a light change on me. And watch how short it is. It's not like a regular length light. But they use these gang stalking tactics, and there's a lot more angles, because it is DHS fusion centers and InfraGard, manipulation of things in society to keep these programs rolling. So they do have a vested interest in making money and building those things up. But for TI specifically, there's a lot of it's to defame us, to defamate, and to make us look crazy. So they like these things in the gang stalking world, where we're being patrolled, or something's being done at some street theater, or vehicular stalking. It serves to discredit what they're doing with the directed energy weapon systems. But I just wanted to say, like, a couple of years ago, this actually, well, I don't know, it's kind of going through the same length as a regular light. Sometimes when they change it on me, it'll just last for like 7 seconds. So I can really tell that it's them. But this one, it could have just been a regular, light change on me. But anyway, what I wanted to say is, a couple of years ago, it was just all making fun of us, like, ha ha ha, y'all wear tinfoil hats, and, you need to go take your medication. Now what I see, where they're viciously attacking target individuals, people that are paid for to vilify us, because we're getting closer. More mainstream information is coming out about this technology, about what it's being, that it's being used on citizens around the world, especially the information in Cuba with the Cuban embassy attack. So they're sorry. It's like that saying at first, the truth will be made fun of, then violently opposed, then accept it eventually. And I think I left one out on that one. But we're getting to the part where it's being violently opposed, the truth that we're bringing out. And we really, it's incredibly evil, because the injustices that my family's gone through, and many other TI families have gone through, the injustices are staggering. The atrocity is staggering of what we've gone through. And then to have someone who's paid to come out and lie and make us seem dangerous, even though we're just trying to get the truth out so that lives can be saved, so that the torture and experimentation can stop. I mean, that is, just pouring gasoline onto an atrocity and justice fire that the likes of which humanity has never, ever seen, before. But I guess that's all I had. I just want to tell people to keep striking while the iron is hot. It seems like this Cuban embassy attack story is not going away. It's getting bigger and bigger in the mainstream media, which is just going to give us, I'm just not happy about what happened to those State Department workers, but the way that it came out in the mainstream media is a huge hole for us to get information through and connect the dots, for American citizens and citizens around the world, that these directed energy weapon systems and sonic-based weapons, are being used. There's research and development going on with them. They're being used for acts of war, or, acts of COINTELPRO, or acts of, making chaos in a country, or a section of a country, and that, I'm just going to go through this one. That's a definite light change. I mean, I don't get a ticket there. But I mean, so we just need to connect the dots. The dots are very connectable. This is not something that has not been proven. If a non-TI or somebody says, well, I haven't heard about these directed energy weapons, I haven't heard about these, sonic-based weapons. You just say, yes, you have. You have heard about it. The Cuban embassy attack. And then the Moscow signal, if TIs want to look up the Moscow signal, that was from 1953 to 1976. The State Department workers in Russia were attacked with these directed energy weapons, microwave weapons, which is what these sonic-based weapons are. Is really electromagnetic frequency directed energy weapon systems weapons. Look up the Moscow signal. So TIs, we need to start showing the history of where these weapons were used in big events, and over long periods of time, from like 1950 something to 1976. It was about 20 years on State Department workers in Russia. So please, if you're a non-TI who is maybe cynical, or a non-TI who is looking into this stuff, connect the dots on how long they hook this stuff to a person, because TIs, in America and other countries where the military-industrial complexes of that nation, the intelligence agencies of those nations are using this stuff. They're using them for extremely long periods of time, and they're not letting up because of research and development. They want to see what kind of cancers these cause. They want to see what kind of neurological damage they cause, because they're trying to come up, one angle of it is that they're trying to come up with consumer-based products for some of the manufacturers like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, Boeing. So they're trying to come up with consumer products, and also the DoD is trying to come up with more ways to use these directed energy weapons in war. Like the V2K, to communicate soldier to soldier, to communicate to a bunch of soldiers in a battalion. So the information is out there. The information is out there. We really need the help of normal citizens who aren't being attacked with this stuff. And the way that they're getting, toxins or nanoparticulates in our body that attract this electromagnetic energy or directed energy, everybody's up on everybody's up on the plate, or up next. You know, a lot of people have this technology